Alright, this is section 9.2, which is understanding interest. This is the first section that is going to start getting into the finance piece of the unit. Okay. So here we're going to start out with interest. So interest is essentially the amount of money that is being charged off of money that has been borrowed. Okay. Now we can also look at interest as being the amount of money that is being given on top of an amount that you are investing. Okay, so like earned money. I like to think of it as either the earned money from the bank. So I don't know if any of you have ever noticed that periodically you may get, say, a dividend notification from your bank. So what that is your bank says, thank you for banking with me, and because of that, I'm going to give you a small percentage of what it is that you have sitting in your account. Obviously, the more you have in the account, the more in interest you have the potential to earn. The less in the account, the less you have to earn. Okay. Well, on the flip side, interest is also calculated versus money that you borrow. So usually, like if you're talking about a credit card or a loan, there's going to be an interest rate, which is the amount of money that gets on versus the duration of, say, how long you're borrowing. And so in that sense, you are also paying that amount. Okay. Well, to get there, we have to start with what's called simple interest. So simple interest is the absolute basic bottom of the barrel method for calculating interest, and it has a formula, I equals PRT, where P is the principal, i.e. the money that you put in, R is the rate, so that is your percentage, and then T is your time. Now time is going to be in years. Okay, so we're talking about having to do conversions if you are given problems in something other than years. So let's do some examples of simple interest. Now each situation is going to be different, but the root of attack is going to be the same, that you still are using your interest formula. What you have to be able to do is to recognize the type of question you're being asked so that you can recognize the formula you have to use. So here it says calculate the simple interest for the situation. And of course round your answers to the nearest cent. So we have determine the interest owed on $1,200 for 30 months at a rate of 19.5%. So the first thing we have to do here is we have to convert our time over to years. So we have to be able to convert into years. So to do that, you're going to take what you know. Well, we know that we've been given 30 months. We also know that there are 12 months per year, which is going to give us a fraction. Well, 30 over 12 reduces to 5 over 2 years. Okay. Now for a lot of these, I would leave your fraction as is so that you don't have to deal with repeating decimals or anything to that effect. This fraction is fairly simple. It comes out to being 2.5, so if you choose to use that, that's fine. But if, say, we're talking about something like a third, then I would leave it as the fraction 1 over 3, as 1/3 is a repeating decimal, and that's very, you want to be as exact as you can. In this case, we're fairly simple. So now, we just simply have to plug in what we know. My interest is going to be the amount of money, so this is going to be my $1,200, times your rate, so 19.5% needs to be converted to a decimal, so divide by 100, 0.5. 195, and then times your years. So that would be your 5 halves of a year. And that is going to give you an answer of $585. Okay. Now the second part says that you are purchasing a new computer using the store's 90-day same as cash deal. If the cost of the computer is $1,575, including tax, with an annual interest rate of 19.99%, how much would you owe on the 91st day if you make no payments during those first 90 days? Okay. Alright, so there's a few things that we have to do with this one. The first thing that we have to do is we have to calculate your interest gained over the 90-day period. Now the reason for that is because you're not paying anything, but you are still gaining the interest. So there's a few things that we have. First, we have 90 days which is the same as 3 months. So if we convert that into years, okay, so to convert to years, we're going to have 3 over 12. And I would go ahead and, leave it like that because you have a calculator, so you might as well. If you want to reduce this, obviously it would reduce down to 1/4, but it's up to you what you choose to do. So here we need to calculate your interest. So the interest is going to be that $1,575 that I have times my rate. So 19.99% is the same as 0.1999 times my years, which was 3 over 12, is going to give me an interest of $78.71. Now you only ever want to round when you get to your end dollar and cent part. That's when you want to finally go ahead and do your rounding. And remember, when we're talking about cents, we only have hundredths place, so you're going to always round to the 2 decimals. Now we're not done, because now we have to calculate your total amount owed on day 91, because this is where you have to start making, say, your payments. So in order to do that means we have to take your cost plus your interest. Well, here my cost was the $1,575. My interest was $78.71. Is going to give me a total of $16.53.71. And this is the actual answer to the problem. So everything else we had to do was just leading us up to the problem, and that is the actual answer of the problem. Okay?